The Rhodes UFO photographs, sometimes called the shoe heel UFO photographs, purport to show a disc-like object flying above Phoenix, Arizona, United States. The two photographs were reportedly taken on July 7, 1947, by amateur astronomer and inventor William Albert Rhodes. On July 9, 1947, the front page of the Arizona Republic featured Rhodes's photographs under the headline, "Mystery Whatsis photographed over Phoenix." The newspaper characterized the object depicted in the photographs as the shape of a heel of a shoe with a small hole in the center. The accompanying article described Rhodes as an amateur radio operator and a model airplane manufacturer who was lauded in the model aircraft community for advances in radio control. Project Blue Book designated the case Incident 40. The Air Force stated in a report that it had consulted 4 expert photographers about the Rhodes photographs, and they had disagreed with each other as to the possibility of filming such an occurrence under the conditions described. Considering that the object was gray as described and at a distance of 2,000 feet, 600 meters, it seems unlikely that it would appear pure black on the print. The report also noted that Rhodes referred to himself as chief of staff of a laboratory, the specialties of which included photography. Yet, the negative was carelessly cut and faultily developed. It was taken about 15 or 20 minutes after a violent thunderstorm out in Ohio. Well, what's more natural than some piece of tar paper picked up by a little miniature twister and being carried a few thousand feet up into the clouds, and it was coming down, that's all. But it was going at an enormous speed. Of course, the man who saw it didn't have the vaguest idea of how far away it was. On the same day that Rhodes claimed to have taken his photographs, it was reported that the FBI was investigating a letter received by the Los Angeles Examiner, asserting that the flying discs that had been widely cited were atomic-powered Soviet craft. One historian argues that Rhodes faked his photographs, using the story of the Soviet craft as a model. The similarities between the images in the Rhodes photographs and the touted Russian invention are fairly marked. Rhodes was a self-taught scientist and self-important man who lied about his education and credentials. He told investigators that he possessed degrees from the esteemed institutions of George Washington University and Columbia University. Later inquiries determined that he was never awarded any such degrees. Rhodes' Panoramic Research Laboratory was in fact just a home basement lab with very modest equipment. The lab, they learned, had never conducted any business of any type with anyone. It turned out to be a place where Rhodes did research experiments to support his private hobby and avocation of acquiring as many U.S. patents as he could in a number of wide-ranging areas. The photo is probably the heel of a shoe called the cat's paw.